Hey, good morning, church. Here's your staff update from the Discipleship Outreach Minister. When things began to change with COVID-19, I made it a priority to continue to reach out to recent visitors, people who had not placed membership but who had been coming regularly. If I had contact information for them, then I was emailing them or making phone calls to them, texting them, and for the most part, they are very grateful and that they consider Woodbury home, and they are anxious to get back meeting together. A lot of these changes that happened were hard for me. They were crippling at first. I started thinking, okay, let's just get through this for the next 2 or 3 weeks. And then I began to see that it's not changing anytime soon. It's not just going to be a few weeks, it's going to be a few months, maybe longer. And so then I began to attack it. Then I began to say, okay, I'm going to learn how to do Zoom. And now that's become almost second nature. But in some ways, it was like teaching an old dog new tricks because technology was not one of my priorities. It was not something I was that concerned about. And now being forced into that, I've had to learn new things. I'd never done a selfie video, and now I'm doing those regularly, and doing Zoom regularly. Sometimes I'm on Zoom 5 or 6 hours in a day. Sometimes not on there at all, but I'm on Zoom or doing video pretty much every day in one form or another because that's about the only avenue that's left for me. One of the things I've been really excited about is the prayer team. It hasn't started in the way I had envisioned, but I think the timing may be good in some ways. We're a little more focused than we may have been had this not happened. And so we're meeting together on Zoom, we're emailing back and forth, we're reading books together, a couple of books, and talking about them so that our prayer team gets off on the same footing, not necessarily the right footing. I don't know that there's a right way to pray and a wrong way to pray, but that we get off on kind of the same footing. And that's been really, really encouraging. Also been helping with the daily videos, but one of the focuses I've had is on benevolence. And we haven't had a ton of that yet, but I believe that as the economic as the economic impact becomes more clear, we may have a lot more to do in that area than we have planned than we do now. And so that's something that we're also praying about. Even though we're doing things virtually, there is a relational aspect of discipleship that is vital, and it can't be filled by these virtual services. It can't. You get on a Zoom call and with someone that you have a relationship with, and it just doesn't quite fit the need. And so, uh, what is this time for? If we're discipling at home, then how should we spend that time? And I believe this time is a time of preparation. I believe that if it is just like training for a job, just like working on your education, just like premarital counseling, it's all preparing for what comes next. And I believe we should spend this time preparing for what comes next. I don't think everything's going to look exactly the same. I don't think we're going to snap back to normal even when we do start meeting together. And I hope we don't. I hope that that's not what we do. So if I can encourage us to use this season to prepare, to draw closer to God, to develop a deeper relationship, to think about the things that we were not doing well before all this happened as far as discipleship, then that's what I would like to do. I would encourage you. If I could encourage you not to just endure this time, but to grow during this time, that's what I want to do. And lastly, I would also encourage you that the Woodbury staff at the church, they're a staff that is willing to adjust. They are concerned about your physical well-being as well as your spiritual well-being. And so the things that we're talking about, I've enjoyed discussing with them, the things that we're talking about doing moving forward during this time and in the future when we experience slow changes back to how it used to be. That's what we're going to pray about, focus on, and you can trust that we have your physical well-being as well as your spiritual well-being in mind. Love you. See you soon.